William Desmond Taylor was an Anglo-Irish-American film director and actor at a time when Hollywood was growing at a phenomenal rate. Taylor directed 59 silent films between 1914 and 1922 and acted in 27 between 1913 and 1915. But it is Taylor's murder on February 1, 1922, that brought him to infamy. Born William Cunningham Dean Tanner, he was born into the Anglo-Irish gentry on April 26, 1872, at Evington House in County Carlow, Ireland, one of 5 children of a retired British Army officer. In 1891, Taylor left Ireland for a dude ranch in Kansas and eventually moved to New York City and fell into acting. Taylor began directing films in 1914, after his move to California. But before coming to Hollywood, Taylor had abandoned a wife and daughter and headed to the Klondike to pan for gold. During that episode, no one knew where he was for months, and some assumed he was dead. Shortly afterward he joined the film business, which was then in its infant stages. He remarried, and the Taylors were well known in New York society and were members of several exclusive clubs. It was also well known that Taylor was a heavy drinker and possibly suffered from chronic depression and was noted for his many extramarital affairs. On the morning of February 2, 1922, Taylor's cook found his boss, laying on the floor, dead, shot in the back. The cook ran out the front lawn screaming, "Mr. Taylor is dead. Mr. Taylor is dead." A crowd gathered inside, and someone identifying himself as a doctor stepped forward, made a cursory examination of the body, and declared Taylor had died of a stomach hemorrhage. The doctor was never seen again. But the 49-year-old film director had been shot at least once in the back with what appeared to have been a small-caliber pistol, which was not found at the scene. When Police Lieutenant Tom Ziegler arrived at the scene, he found actors, actresses, and studio executives rummaging through the director's belongings. In Taylor's pockets, investigators found a wallet holding $78 in cash. Today it would have a value of $1,210. There was also a silver cigarette case, a Waltham pocket watch, a penknife, and a locket bearing a photograph of actress Mabel Normand. An expensive 2-carat diamond ring was on his finger. With the evidence of the money and valuables on Taylor's body, robbery seemingly was not the motive for the killing. However, a large but undetermined sum of cash that Taylor had shown to his accountant the day before was missing and apparently never accounted for. Neighbors recalled hearing what they thought was a car backfiring around 9 the night before. One couple, alarmed at the sound, had looked out their window to see a man leaving Taylor's home. A suspects list drawn up by the police included a deranged stage mother, drug dealers, a lovelorn teenage cinema star, and members of a gay opium cult, were just a few of the convoluted leads. Eventually, details of Taylor's private life surfaced. Pornography and a large collection of women's lingerie were found in the bungalow. Police learned that the last person to see Taylor alive was Hollywood it girl Mabel Normand, with whom, it was rumored, Taylor was madly in love with her, although a large portion of the Hollywood colony argued that Taylor was gay. It was learned that Normand was addicted to cocaine and Taylor had tried repeatedly to help her get treatment. The story was that Taylor threatened to reveal the dope dealer to the police, which led to his murder. The police also suspected that person seen leaving Taylor's house that fateful night wasn't a man at all but Charlotte Shelby, the mother of starlet Mary Miles Minter, a Taylor protege. Minter had been in love with him, but Taylor had rebuffed her, saying he was too old for the teenager. A piece of lingerie found in his house had her initials on it. Minter had once tried to shoot herself with the same type of gun used in Taylor's murder. Furthermore, Shelby had previously threatened the life of another director who had made a pass at her daughter. Later in the investigation, Shelby's alibi witness received suspiciously large sums of money. Many years later, in Minter's unpublished autobiography, she admitted that she and her mother were at Taylor's bungalow on the night of the killing. Shelby, an incorrigible stage mother, was outraged by the possible relationship. In the coming years, both of Shelby's daughters, including Mary, would accuse her of the murder. "My mother killed everything I ever loved," Mary Minter would later say. Edward Sands, Taylor's former valet, who had previously robbed him, was long considered a leading suspect, but the police were unable to find him. In 1964, as Margaret Gibson, a silent film star who had worked with Taylor, lay dying, she asked for a priest. She then proceeded to tell the priest and the group of neighbors who had gathered around her, "I killed William Desmond Taylor." No consensus of the true murderer ever came about and Taylor's murder was never solved.